Proving to be one of the most contentious issues in America, immigration reform. What do you do with the millions here illegally? These demonstrations in California want action to put 12 million illegal immigrants on the road to citizenship, but others don't want any program that allows amnesty of any kind. For more on all of this, we're joined by Deborah Notkin of the American Immigration Lawyers Association and MSNBC analyst Pat Buchanan. Thank you both for being with us.
Morning, Amy.
So, Pat, what do you make of this so-called Z visa? It's been proposed. It would allow immigrant workers to pay or to apply for 3-year work permits without granting them permanent residence or citizenships. Do you think that that's striking the balance?
No, I think many of the illegal aliens and the groups who represent them aren't going to accept that because of the $3,500. And with regard to President Bush, I think he's really broken his pick here, Amy. There is no crisis of people in this country illegally that we've got to do something for them. What we got to do is stop the continuing invasion across the border, enforce the laws, and this problem will resolve itself. Politically, the Democratic Party in the House, I do not believe, is going to commit ritual suicide by endorsing the president's program, which is de facto amnesty.
Well, Deborah, let me ask you this, because the president is expected to stress that there needs to be 4 elements within any immigration bill he sees on his desk before he'll let it pass. He wants more border security, better enforcement of immigration laws in the interior, a temporary worker program, and resolving without amnesty and without animosity the status of millions of illegal immigrants who are here currently. What do you make of the president's plan? Is it plausible?
Well, the concepts that those 4 things have to be done, including giving people here who have jobs and are producing a path to legalize themselves, are sound. I believe his plan isn't as workable as a bipartisan bill that's been put in Congress that's called the Strive Act that would add border enhancements to enforce our borders, employer verifications, as well as an ongoing temporary worker program and a path to legalization for those who have jobs and can pay taxes and a fine. I think it's a more realistic way to go. You know, the amnesty word has been misused a lot. The mistake that we made with amnesty the last time around is that we didn't then create a legal visa to bring in lesser skilled workers when they're needed to fill jobs that can't be filled by Americans. And the 4-part plan can do that. This is not an amnesty. This is a legalization of some who are producing. DHS, even DHS says that we're not going to deport 12 million people, so we have to have a solution.
All right, let's let Pat jump in.
Look, if you legalize people who have broken the law, broken into your country, and are breaking the law by being here, and you say we're going to put you on a path to citizenship, that is amnesty. My opponent here talks about the need for these workers. We found out by a Heritage Foundation study that every person, legal or illegal immigrant, who comes in here without a high school education, pays about $10,000 a year in taxes, and consumes $32,000 a year in public services. We have a massive law-breaking on our border. That is the problem. Why would you honor a lawbreaker with a citizenship of the United States for which people have striven all their lives simply because they succeeded in eluding our border patrol?
Not having a solution when it's been said they can't be deported is not a way to do it. Also, Pat, I have to refer you to the Office of Texas Controller, who, as a border state, indicated that there's actually been a net in terms of money and taxes that these foreign nationals paid as against the resources that they take up. Also, I'll tell you something about the Heritage Foundation. Their surveys bloat the number of people that could come here legally. They said we're going to have 210 million people coming here, which was 70 million more people than are in Mexico and Central America alone.
Look, with due
their
respect,
surveys are really,
all right,
really
I'll let Pat
flawed.
quickly respond.
Look, we got 36 million immigrants in the country. 12 to 20 million of them are here illegally. What they're saying is, if you give an amnesty, the whole world's going to come here. The one thing Bush is doing well now, or a little better, is we've cut down the mass immigration on our border from 1.5 million apprehensions every year to an average now of about 800,000. That is the way to go. Stop the invasion, punish the employers, hire illegals, and the problem will solve itself. We don't need another amnesty.
All right, Pat Buchanan and Deborah Notkin, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Former presidential candidate, best-selling author, television commentator Pat Buchanan provides what is nothing less than a terrifying glimpse of the future of this country in his new book, Day of Reckoning: How Hubris, Ideology, and Greed Are Tearing America Apart. Buchanan warns that America now faces a number of pending disasters, including a massive invasion across our broken borders, American military forces pushed to the breaking point, and the declining dollar. Joining me now from our studios in Washington, Pat Buchanan. Pat, good to have you with us.
Well, thank you, Lou. Good to be back.
And congratulations on the new book, just a bestseller, doing great. Let me turn to the very first thing, your first chapter, declaring that the American century is over. And I'd like to share this with our viewers. America is indeed coming apart, decomposing, and the likelihood of her survival as one nation through mid-century is improbable and impossible if America continues on her current course, for we are on a path to national suicide. My God, I don't think you could be more pessimistic about our prospects.
Well, that is where we are headed, Lou. As I write in the last chapter, we can still have a second American century. But look what is happening. You got 12 to 20 million illegal aliens in the country, 38 million immigrants. The melting pot that turned our grandfathers and great-grandfathers into Americans is cracked, broken, and rejected as an instrument of cultural genocide. You have that going on in the country. At the same time, the dollar is going down. Your manufacturing base is being exported. You're overextended abroad with a smaller army than we had in 1939. So she's with the Puerto Rican group. All of them, people agree with that, is to advance people based on their ethnicity and national origin over white males. Judge Sotomayor believes in race-based justice. Race-based justice, race-based justice. Her entire career is based on advancing people of color, which happens at the expense of white folks. She is also an affirmative action pick. This is an affirmative action pick. Clearly, the president was down to 4 choices, all 4 of them women, and he picked the Hispanic. The question is, does she believe in reverse discrimination against white males? And it appears she does. If Sam Alito had said, I think given their life's experience and the richness of it, white males will make better decisions than Latina females, he would be out. That. He would be finished. Who really denied Frank Ritchie, who was that fireman who lost his dream because he happened to be a white male. She will decide differently from a white male. And this is what it's coming down to.
We don't have a big problem with discrimination against white people in this society.
Basically, believing that it's okay to discriminate against white males who are white working class folks who are the ones discriminated against most today. Okay. And that woman was taking away their rights because they were white.
That woman?
What is happening now to white men right now is exactly what was done to black folks for years.
No, I don't buy that.
That was what was done in the South. What we got is Jim Crow liberalism. We got that hostility and bigotry toward white males in America, working class guys who voted for Pat Buchanan.